Yep, this month's CSP tip is about 3D figures. I've already made a tutorial on how to use 3D objects in CSP to quicken your drawing process and thus make the whole drawing experience a lot more easy on yourself. Just like with other 3D objects, you can buy custom figures in the CSP Assets catalog. But you also already have 3 standard 3D figures installed that you can find under the material folder. So first we start by dropping a 3D figure into our canvas. As you can see, you can just click on certain parts of a body and already move it around, and the rest of the body will kind of just move along with it. For finer tuning, just click on the body parts you'd like to adjust, and with these sliders you can either twist them or rotate them to your liking. Now for the hands, you are free to move every finger on its own to get the position that you want to, but you can also cut a lot of time by going to settings and going to the preset options. You either have different grips for the hands with a different thumb position, or you can go to a triangle above where you will have a preset open palm, have the fingers either closer together or further apart from each other. Use these presettings to then adjust it accordingly to what you want. This will help to cut out time again and maybe help you when you don't know what the hell you're doing and you just need some guidance. Ta-da! Here is my fancy pose for this drawing. By the way, besides just getting the finger into the right position, you can actually also change up the body shape. Here you can adjust how thick, how thin, how long and how short certain body parts of a figure are. This way you can either make a beautiful proportion for your figure, or you can create a Lovecraftian creature. Oh, and before I forget, you can save all the poses that you've created or the body shape of characters so you don't have to redo them every time. So save them and plop them back into the canvas. Here I created 2 sketches to show you the difference between the sketch based off of the 3D figure and the one that I adjusted to fit my drawing style. If we compare both sketches, you can see that the one adjusted is a lot more interesting to look at and the one that would be more accurate to body proportions. The only thing to note for the line art is that I always use vector layers rather than normal layers. One of the biggest reasons for this is that you have control points where you can adjust the lines a lot easier, so I recommend that you use them as well. For this step, I'm just putting in the ink, the shadows and the hatching, some screen tones. I've already talked about how I do this in a previous tutorial if you're interested. Also, I did not need it for this drawing, but in case that you are struggling with drawing backgrounds, you can use 3D objects for that as well. Here I just dropped in a free 3D object of a station that CSP offers, and then on top of that dropped in the figure that we've been using before. If you take a look at the upper taskbar, you can see that the 3 symbols on the right are to change the perspective of the figure itself. The 4 symbols on the left, however, are to change the camera perspective. By changing up the camera angle, the same scene can portray different moods. So playing around with these settings might help you when you're writing a story, but you're not certain on what kind of scene you want to set it in. Also, you can either trace the 3D objects for the line art, or you can go to filter and then to artistic to get a somewhat dirtier line art, but then you can just easily clean that up and adjust it accordingly. So, let's sum up what we've talked about today. Incorporating 3D objects into your drawing process can be helpful when you're struggling with drawing certain building structures, drawing perspectives, or you take too much time while trying to set up the figure and the background. Thanks to the 3D objects, you don't have to draw, erase and redraw a certain sketch. You can just play around with the objects itself until you have set the scene as you'd like it, or until you've made the figure into a pose that you like, and then go on to sketch and do the line arts.
Risks could be identified
Or
only relying on
already helping out and all.
But that language. Why?
What do you mean, why? No, I'll just do the rest of a tutorial.
No objection.
So as long as you don't just mimic with 3D object but adjust it to your own style, it should be fine. With that out of the way, here is my finished piece. You can find this picture and all of my other drawings on Pixiv in higher resolution, so you can see all of the little details and the flaws that I might have missed. If you are interested in this character, she is the main protagonist of the story that I'm currently drawing, and I finally have the time to work on that manga again, so you will definitely see a lot more of her and of the other protagonists. That's about it for this tutorial. Thank you very much for watching this far. I hope these tips can be helpful to you. Most importantly, just don't be afraid to use some of these more curious tools of CSB. They can be very helpful, especially when you're a beginner. So don't hold back and just explore and have fun. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.